Sidney Powell joins us now. Sidney, it's great to have you back on.
Hey, thanks, Liz.
Hey, Sidney, tell us, you were at the appeals court again yesterday asking it to shut down lower court Judge Emmett Sullivan. Why is he still not dropping the case against Michael Flynn?
Well, I wish I knew the answer to that, Liz. He seems bound and determined to take General Flynn to a hearing and then to a sentencing, but he does not have standing. He's not a party to the case, and he doesn't even have a right to file a brief with the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals like he did. So that's one of the reasons we have moved to have the mandamus go ahead and issue by the circuit court and lift the stay they put on it when he petitioned. And there are many other reasons, too. In fact, there's not a single case in the country that allows him to do what he's trying to do. Every single case requires the government's motion to dismiss be granted completely with prejudice.
Okay. The Justice Department has asked that the case be dismissed. The Judge Emmett Sullivan is saying no to that. What was meant by the statement in your filing saying, quote, the district court, the judge, Emmett Sullivan, has hijacked and extended a criminal prosecution for almost 3 months for its own purposes? What are its own purposes here?
Well, his own purposes at a minimum are to drag out the litigation against General Flynn for whatever his personal reasons are. There's no legal basis to do that. And I mean, I wish I knew what he was thinking, but it's not following the law.
So he's taking on the role of prosecutor, not judge. Is that it?
Exactly. He's been trying to proceed with a prosecution that the government asked to be dismissed on May 7th. The dismissal should have been entered May 8th. He doesn't have any legal basis to do anything other than grant the dismissal. He cannot throw off his robe and pick up the gauntlet of a prosecutor.
Okay, let's move on to the Durham criminal investigation and the Trump-Russia probe. The declassified documents, Sidney, show chaos behind the scenes at the FBI in both the Trump-Russia probe and the Michael Flynn case. We're seeing indications that the Durham probe may wrap up by the end of the year. We don't know yet. Recognizable names, Attorney General Flynn is saying, could be called on the carpet. Who do you think will be called on the carpet?
Well, there better be some FBI agents called on the carpet for obstructing justice and falsifying government records. We know that happened with the Flynn 302, the FBI report of his interview, where they actually added statements to it that were not said and were not found in their notes. And they made up the entire case against him.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're seeing also comments coming out from conservatives saying, and I want you to listen to this, tell us if this is right or wrong, that Michael Flynn was lied to, set up multiple times, a perjury trap set up for him by the FBI, no Miranda warning, no lawyer present, falsely accused, threatened with his son being indicted, provided legal counsel from the same firm initially where Obama's former Attorney General Eric Holder worked. Is that all correct?
That is mostly correct. Miranda warnings were not required because he was not in custody, but the FBI routinely warns people of a potential false statement when they talk to them, and they specifically decided not to warn General Flynn or even mention that to him. They also decided, contrary to their rules, not to show him any of the evidence that they had because they had full transcripts of his conversations with the Russian ambassador, and he knew they did. He said, hey, you guys have the transcripts. And he told McCabe that and the agents that. They all knew. He knew from his work they had the transcripts, so there was nothing to argue about what was said.
Okay, let's move back to the Durham probe. I'm so sorry to keep flipping back and forth. This Trump-Russia probe, which eventually wrapped up your client, Michael Flynn, began with the Hillary Clinton and the Democrats funding Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele dug up opposition research on then the Trump team and candidate Trump And then somehow that information found its way inside the FBI. The FBI used it to get FISA wiretaps on individuals like Carter Page. Should John Durham, U.S. Attorney, sit down with Hillary Clinton and ask what was going on with their funding of the Steele dossier?
I think Hillary Clinton should be subpoenaed before a grand jury to answer those questions, as should be the lawyers from the Perkins Coie firm who helped mastermind the whole thing, and Glenn Simpson with Fusion GPS. That information found its way to the FBI through numerous sources, including one of the lawyers at Perkins Coie who gave James Baker, the FBI general counsel, a thumb drive with information on it. Nellie Orr was feeding it to her husband, Bruce Orr, who was then taking it over to the FBI. Some came from the State Department. Some came from Christopher Steele. It was a very well-organized, multifaceted operation.
All right. Sidney Powell, it's great to have you on. Come back soon. Good to hear from you.
Thank you,
Come back
Liz.
soon.
Anytime.